So 2 minutes ago, I've literally just got into my house, not even changed or anything like that. Coming back from some football because of all days, January 3rd, you've seen it anywhere in the UK, all the postponements. There's one result today which we really need to talk about. And one of the teams in that match, I've done a video on, but the other one, I've left for a while because of this. We need to talk about Wolves beating West Ham. So let me paint a picture for you, just so you can put your feet in my shoes throughout the whole day. In the morning, you begin to plan your next episode by going to Wingate and Finchley. Turns out it's postponed because of a frozen pitch. You think, no biggie. You look on SofaScores, you go on Footballogy or whichever app or internet browser you use or whatever. You try to find another match. You know, you look into step 3, step 4, step 5, even step 6. All postponed apart from a couple that have the AstroTurf. And you know what you have to understand? You have to understand that a lot of grounds still don't have AstroTurf pitches. Especially at this time of the year and the like. You think it's much more beneficial that it's universal. But hey ho, we don't live in a utopia. And then you find one quite a bit away. And you think to yourself, right, I've got a couple of hours to get here. I can do it just absolutely fine. You go to Hemel Hempstead. Hemel Hempstead against Dagenham and Redbridge in the National League South. You know, I've been there a couple of times. It's great to go back to some of these grounds. They've been a long time. Hemel Hempstead is one that I haven't been to in about 7-8 years. So it was great to come back. You're watching a game, it's all nice and fancy. You keep SofaScores on for any updates on all the Premier League matches. And all of a sudden, you're seeing one match in particular, just out of the blue, goals on one end of the spectrum. Wolves West Ham. 1-0 Wolves, 2-0 Wolves, 3-0 Wolves. And you think to yourself, what on earth is going on? How has this happened? How has this happened? Wolves have been on, correct me if I'm wrong, a 19-game winless streak. They haven't won a Premier League game, since April. And all of a sudden, they're beating just a side in the Premier League 3-0 before half time. And you think to yourself, right, this is fine and all, but Wolves have been bad. You see it all over the internet, all over YouTube, Instagram, TikTok and the like, that Wolves are the worst team in Premier League history. 3 points at this moment in time, you know? Then they will go through the whole season without a win. Good luck getting any more points. And all of a sudden, they win a game. And of all the teams to lose to Wolves is West Ham. So the main thing why I wanted to make this video, hopefully I'll make it quite short. I've made a video about West Ham and why they've been so terrible in 2025. A lot of the points revolved around the board. Some points revolved around them handling managers, the players themselves, the ground. There's a lot of things as to why West Ham are where they are right now, and it doesn't take a scientist to really convey that. But I would say for the past month, I've been planning, writing, researching about Wolves' season. And I've held back a lot, many times, into completing the video, completing the script, and to upload it, because they haven't been the worst team in the Premier League of late. Like, don't get me wrong, they're 20th in the Premier League, they're the worst side, I get it. But of late, they have not really been performing like the worst team. I mean, I've got it right next to me here. The past 5 matches, a 2-1 loss to Arsenal away, a 2-0 loss to Brentford at home, 2-1 loss to Liverpool away, a 1-1 draw against Manchester United away, and right now beating West Ham 3-0 at home. If you are the worst side, you get a whooping. You get a proper whooping. And even against the Arsenal, who are top of the league, Liverpool, who arguably are now going through an unbeaten run, Man United, who, you know, with all its critics and like that, are still challenging for a Champions League spot. They've convincingly not been whooped and have actually done quite well to be competitive. And you compare the 5 recent games to West Ham. Again, a 2-3 loss to Aston Villa at home, a 3-0 loss to Man City away, a 1-0 loss to Fulham at home, a 2-2 draw to Brighton at home, and now losing 3-0 away to Wolves. I mean, it's not necessarily a whooping, but it feels like a great disparity between both the squads. Wolves, for all its flaws and like, have been criticised so much about having all these star players 4 or 5 years ago under the Nuno Espirito Santo era, and then them being sold for massive profit, and then replacements come in who aren't necessarily up for standard, you know, they're cheap alternatives. And then you look at West Ham, like today's squad. I mean, I saw that squad, and as a neutral, you do not put youngsters who have no history of top level experience, let alone top level relegation battle experience, to fight your battles for you, for how great Potts and Scales are, how great they are. You don't expect them to carry the load of trying to carry a team out of a relegation dogfight. It's only going to harm them, in my opinion. The midfield was so young. Was it Potts is trending? My guess is 22. You've got Bowen, who I've never really seen as a captain. It's one thing having a captain who leads by just scoring goals and carries the team, but you don't really see a lot of leadership qualities with Bowen. You don't really see him necessarily getting on the backs of his teammates, banging on the door in the changing rooms to get in everyone's minds to actually be competitive. And that's why it's the main thing right now, at this moment in time, why I kind of wanted to make this quick video to make a statement. And the statement I'm making is the fact that I believe West Ham are the worst Premier League side right now. I don't really see how anyone can think otherwise apart from the total points tally. Wolves right now are on a run, and somehow Robert Edwards, sure, it's just one win and it's one draw against Man United. Kalou. Bottom line is they've got their first win, and who knows where that will take them under Rob Edwards. I'm not really a Rob Edwards fan myself. 2 relegations with Luton that he's contributed to. Weird that he's been able to merit a Premier League job again, irrespective of him back in the day playing for them. It kind of doesn't really illustrate that meritocracy of football these days. But he got a tune out of them today, and Nuno Espirito Santo, for all the plaudits and the like that he's had with Nottingham Forest, is failing miraculously. And to a degree, yes, it's his fault, but you can only manage the tools that you have upon you. You know what I mean? He can only use the players at his disposal to some degree. You know, there's been so many flops in that squad. Somerville has been a massive flop. Yes, Lucas Paqueta is probably their star man, but for every 4 games, he turns up 1 game and he disappears the next 3. Max Kilman. Don't get me started on Max Kilman. A £40 million signing under Julian Lopetegui from Wolves. And it wasn't even that long ago he was playing for Maidenhead. And he's a £40 million signing? He's not even, I don't believe he's even half that. There are so many things wrong right now with West Ham. And ultimately, the people who are paying the price for this are the fans. You know, there's been so many West Ham fans who've travelled up to near Birmingham and Wolverhampton, and they watched a capitulation of their squad. You know, that 3-4 years ago, we're winning a European title, and now I believe are on the cusp of statistically in 2025-26 season being the worst side of the season. I don't think Wolves will have less points than Derby at the end of the season. You know, you've heard it here first. I can't wait to come back to this video in May if Wolves somehow have less than 11 points. West Ham have more than 11 points. But I will not be shocked if they finish bottom. And if there was a place in time that would illustrate the start of that opinion, it's January 3rd, 2026. But I'd like to know what you guys think right now about, even if you're a neutral, a Wolves fan or a West Ham fan, what this result really means not only for West Ham and Wolves, but the record books in the Premier League. So I'm going to leave you to ponder that. And if you're new here, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.